Hey everyone, it's Synth Designer back again with another video. Today we'll be continuing our series on Synthwave Essentials. If you're new here, please check out all my other videos. I go through so many different techniques for Synthwave, and I would love for you to check those videos out. But today we're going to be looking at how to make your bass lines a little bit more interesting and a few basic techniques that might help you out. We're going to look at some ideas on automation, simple bassline tricks to make them more interesting, and other techniques that will enhance your bass lines for Synthwave. I think we're all familiar with Synthwave bass lines. They have this kind of quick, plucky sound to them. And if you're not familiar with my preset packs, this is from Synthwave Essentials Volume 4 for Serum. You could get them for free at synthdesigner.com, no signups required. But I have this basic bassline set up here. It goes like this. And we're going to look at how to make this a little bit more interesting and what to do with it if you're kind of stuck. So let's add this to the playlist right off the bat. We can maybe even create some chords afterwards, but let's keep it simple for now. First thing I'm going to do, I think you're all very familiar with this, is sidechain it. So I'm going to open this up. It is right now on Insert 5, and I'm going to add Kickstart 2. Use your own plugins if you don't have Kickstart 2. You can have a bass kick to it and then just sidechain that. If you're not familiar with how to do that, I go through that in different videos. But I'm going to open this up. Just do it on a quarter note because we're going to do it on a 4-on-the-floor basis. So on and off. So I think we're all very familiar with that kind of sound, and you get that with your side chaining. So that's the first very easy technique to start off with. The next thing I'd like to do is think about your filter. So oftentimes these bass lines or these bass presets will have a second envelope opening it up. What we could do is mess with this cutoff here and maybe start down here. And then what we're going to do, if you're in FL Studio, go to Tools and Last Tweaked, and then create Automation Clip. And very simply, we're going to open this up as time goes on. So if we were to start the song like this, you could hear it opening up more and more. So it gives it a different flair, and feel free to mess with the automation at any point. Think about it in different parts of the song. Obviously, the brighter it gets, the more present it'll be in the mix. So maybe you want it to really be at the forefront. You could even make it a lot brighter. And you can hear the stark contrast there. So you could do a whole bunch of things. You could really mess with it, make it go all over the place type of thing. So you don't have to keep it all in one place. And try this out. And obviously that gives it a little bit of a unique character to it. It's not so static if you had it all on the same filter. So it keeps it interesting and keeps the listener more interested as well. The other thing you could do is right now it's on 1 or 4 voices of unison. You could change this down to 1 voice if you want to start this maybe on 1 voice of unison. So let's open up this a little bit so we're not too low here. And we're going to start this on 1 voice. You can potentially automate this. I would say maybe keep it separate, keep one like this, and then have another preset with 4 voices. But let's take a listen. could also think about blending it in. You could open it up and blend in that bass line with more voice of unison. So start a song with one voice and then create another one with 7 or 4 or whatever it is, and just blend it in, and it'll sound bigger and more interesting. And that way you'll keep things a little bit fresh as well. Another technique, of course, is playing with this resonance. This is a great item to automate as well. And it kind of gives it that kind of quirky vibe to it. You can play with that as much as you want, and the more you up the resonance, the more that frequency, whatever it is going to be accentuated. So obviously as it opens up, it's going to be accentuated there more and more. So that's just an easy way of doing things. The other thing is we can look at effects. Right now I have a little bit of chorus here. You don't want to add like reverb or anything like that, but you might think about distortion. So we'll start off with no distortion and bring it in. Up the drive. And with distortion, it really adds that more upper harmonic content. So you'll have to think about that a little bit when you're creating your pads or your leads. But that distortion really gives it a nice warmth to it and adds that frequency that you might not have otherwise. Another thing I like to do, and this is not to do with the sound design, but take every other note in the bass line and then move them all up an octave. And now you have a different bass line. That might seem like an obvious technique, but it does introduce something a little bit different. I find it in faster bass lines, it works nicely. And you can take the kickstart off because it's really accentuating that second note. But if you were to take it off, and it just gives it a little bit of a different feel to it. Similarly, you can make it faster or slower. So if we were to take these notes and double them, this will be a little bit too fast, so we'd have to slow down the pace. But if we were to double the notes, so again, a different feel there, nice with that sidechain technique as well. Similarly, you can make them a bit slower if you want. So I went back to it. It really depends. I think the more traditional synthwave bass line will be on this kind of 8th note technique or 16th note, but any slower than that, it's going to be a little bit too slow. Might work for faster up-tempo stuff, up to you. The last idea I want to show you is through the envelope. So we have the envelope here. You could hear as we up that decay, it's going to sustain the sound a little bit more and change the tone. Don't go too crazy, because if you're on envelope 1 here, it becomes really muddled and unpleasant. It might work in short bursts. Try and experiment, but that's just something to keep in mind. Obviously, with LFOs, you can mess around too. The only thing there is, obviously, with short, plucky sounds, the envelope or the LFO is not going to have as much of an effect, and you won't hear it. But do experiment. Same with the wavetables. Mess around with them, distort them, and manipulate them as much as you want. But those are just some techniques that I hope will make your bass lines a little bit more interesting and just give you some ideas on how to change things up if you are stuck. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this video. What other synthwave types of videos would you like to see? And hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.